right, this system is actually going to be somewhat similar to the system we built back in December, but with a few tweaks to make it better. I think this is kind of the hot spot for price to performance ratio. You know, the $600 to $800 mark. You guys can do so much in that price range right now. It's kind of ridiculous. So let's go ahead and start off with the cheap option for the CPU, and that's the AMD FX 6300. It's a 6-core CPU. Now these are not going to be as fast as like an i5 or whatever, but it's $100. And you can do a lot with it. It actually does a very decent job in games. The main thing with gaming PCs is, you want to put all your money into the graphics card. Now, if you want to spend extra money, of course, you can get an 8350, but, these are not on sale like they were at the end of the year. So I'm kind of just, if you're going to do, AMD and you're building a gaming system, just spend the $100 and you'll be just fine. If you want to spend more, I've got an Intel option that's actually on sale right now. So let's take a look at that. This is an Intel motherboard and CPU combo right now that's just happening on Newegg. So sorry guys that are outside of the USA, but saving $52 if you get the brand new
fancy
i5 with the MSI Z97S SLI Crate Edition with their
fancy
color scheme there. So I think it's a decent combo. And I also like that the first slot is a 1X, not a 16X slot, and that's going to be nice if you have a large cooling unit. Sometimes those will touch the graphics card there in the first slot and you have to move it over. So this is and decent options for the money. Now for the motherboard on the AMD side, I'm just going to go ahead and grab ASRock 980 DE3 US3. That's U3 S3, whatever. And this motherboard is going to be decent. I probably would not overclock at all on this motherboard. It's going to have a hard enough time. I mean, if you want to overclock, spend more money, and that's just the way it is. But right now the sweet spot seems to be about right here. $300 will get you that, and that's a nice bundle. For the RAM, 880 XPG version 2. This is just decent RAM. I've used it before. Now RAM prices go up and down all the time, and it's the market right now is kind of ridiculous. They should be way lower than this, but RAM prices seem to be going up, and I don't even know. If you guys find some really good DDR, DDR3, feel free to link it, because these prices fluctuate a lot, and if it's a decent brand and using some decent memory, then yeah. And this 1866 is going to be all that you need. So, all right, for the storage now, the Corsair 4 Series LS. This one is a tiny bit slower than some of the other ones out there on the market, but it's really inexpensive, and it's still freaking fast. I mean, the read 535 and the write of 440. So I'm going to use that as my OS drive. If you're only going to put the OS on there, you may be able to get by with 60 gigabytes, but 120 is a little better. And the price for that is really cheap. Now, another thing, I'm not sure if you guys are into the whole, mail-in rebates, but I think they are doing a rebate thing on Newegg where you can get it after rebate for $39 or something crazy like that. I don't even include rebates in the price total because I think they're BS. Mail-in rebates are the biggest BS ever. So now for the hard drive, you've got a couple different options here. You can grab one of these Hitachi. This is a 2 terabyte drive, $65. And I actually like these Hitachis quite a bit. I would like a little bit larger buffer, but this will do just fine for the money. All right, keeping things cool. Of course, everyone in the comments I can already see. Why didn't you recommend the Cooler Master Hyper 212 or the Hyper 212 Evo? I recommend the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, but hey, I'm going to be different right now and also recommend another one that I think does a very good job. I haven't tested them head-to-head yet, but it might be interesting to see how they are head-to-head because it's around the same price. Let's talk graphics cards, man. So the Sapphire Tri-X, this is the overclocked R9 290X with 4 gigabytes of GDDR5. It's also a 512-bit card. So 512 bits, and it actually has 4 gigabytes of RAM that you can use. All of. This is the new sweet spot for price performance ratio because the 290X just dropped to $300. This one has a really fancy cooling unit. It's a little bit more expensive. The MSI Twin Frozer is really good. Gigabyte's got their WindForce. So there's several different versions of the 290X. So look around, and if you see one for around $300, just grab it because it's going to be great. And the performance is about on par with a 970, sometimes faster in some games, sometimes slower in others that are optimized for NVIDIA. So that's pretty good. You guys could also go with 970. I'm still recommending those, even though the whole memory conspiracy thing that's happening right now. They still are very good for the money, and that's the bottom line there. It's just kind of crappy that they were misadvertised. If you want to go a little bit cheaper, the R9 280X, yes indeed, $234. And this is the Vapor X version. These things are super quiet and nice and cool. And for all you guys out there who are like just programmed, as soon as you see an AMD card, you're like, oh, well, it's going to be 90 degrees. It's going to be 9,000. It's going to take, and it's going to run your power bill through the roof. It's like an extra quarter a month. So shut your mouth. And then on top of that, as far as the heat and the noise and everything goes, who the hell uses a stock cooler? If you use a stock cooler, you're a bad person. You should feel bad. You should sit in the corner with some kind of a funny hat on. Whatever hat is a sign of badness in your country. You should wear that and sit in the corner. Power supply. I'm really liking these EVGA power supplies because you get a lot for your money. And with 600 watts, that's going to be plenty for this system. And 80 plus bronze is what I'm looking for. Decently made, and I'm not sure how they're making, you know, decent power supplies like this for the money. So, also, I believe you can find a mail-in rebate on this one over at, I think Newegg has it or somewhere else. But again, I ignore those unless you're someone who just really, really believes in that kind of BS. Then I would just ignore it. I also want to say that in the last episode, I mentioned a Kingston, the SSD now, and don't buy that because they did a bait and switch with the memory modules on there, and the new ones are not nearly as fast. They say they've switched back to the other ones, but we want to send them a message. At least I want to send them a message that that's not cool to do that. They tried to defend it when I talked to them. They were like, no, we knew that it was slower, but it's also a very low price point. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You guys can release a low price point card. Just don't let, you know, reviewers have sample copies like I have, and mine's nice and fast. You know, like 450 or 500 on the read and write. And then, you know, and then after all the reviews come out, half a year later, switch to some really slow RAM. That's a shitty thing to do. So do not buy the SSD now. I apologize for recommending it. Like I said, my copy, or the one that I have in my PC, is actually very fast. I use it as my Skyrim drive, and it's like just in there hanging out. Since that's pretty much all it's being used for right now is Skyrim, it's in there doing that. But the HyperX stuff, on the other hand, is very nice, but it's, you know, the premium stuff. You're going to need a house for your case. Your house for your case? You're going to need a case for your computer. A house for your computer. Yes, this is the Deep Cool Tesseract. And it's actually surprisingly easy to build with. A lot of options, and extraordinarily inexpensive. So the only thing I don't like about it is not exactly, you know, sealed off from sound and everything. But everything will fit just fine in here. And the price is ridiculous. I mean, freaking ridiculously inexpensive for what you get. You can get it black or you can get it in white. If you guys want to spend a little bit more money, well, there's the Thermaltake Versa H21. Got a different aesthetic, a little bit more of a gamer cool type aesthetic, you know. And that one will do just fine as well. And then if you know, if you want to go like premium, check this out. So the Define R4, it's been out for quite a long time, and the Define R5 just came out to replace it. And while the Define R5 is a better case, the Define R4 might be even more minimal. There's a couple fewer options, but you're not making that many sacrifices, and you're getting a case that is completely silent and well made. So right now it's on sale. There's limited, you know, this is probably going to be here for a limited time, guys, because like I said, the R5 is out. It's $79 right now, so that's nice. Actually, I've never actually included a mouse and keyboard, but I'm trying to get rid of some of the idiots in the comments who are like, oh, you didn't include a mouse and a keyboard, and that's why console gaming is better, because a mouse costs $100 and a keyboard costs $150 for a good keyboard. All right, let's do this. PS2 keyboard. It will plug into those just fine. Rubber domes, just a regular keyboard. You guys can play games just fine with a regular keyboard, and because it's PS2, it's going to have full in-key rollover. Right, that's part of PS2. It's the way it works because it's a hardware interrupt. It doesn't actually rely upon USB polling or anything like that. Whenever you press a button, it sends a hardware interrupt to your CPU saying like, "Hey, I've pressed a button." So, I prefer PS2 keyboards. I mean, these days USB is also, you know, just fine. But for the inexpensive stuff, grab a PS2 keyboard, plug it up, and go. Now let's take a look at a gaming mouse. This is the EC Technology, just a 4000 DPI gaming mouse. I'm not even sure what all this crap is, but check this out. Omron switches, right? You get your micro braided cable like a lot of you guys like. I actually do not care for the braided cables, but whatever. And then you also have the Avago 3090 sensor. Now the Avago 3090 is used in a lot of the best gaming mice out there on the planet. So all those things for $16.99, not that bad. You can even go for like $10 and get like an E-Blue, I believe it is, something like that. those are decent. Just, you know, the best thing to do when you're doing that is to look at the mouse and see what the sensor is, and then just copy the sensor. Like this one, like I said, it has the 3090 from Avago, or the ADNS 3090. Just copy the sensor, put it into Google, and just go and see if it's considered a gaming grade sensor or not. Probably should make a list of that somewhere, where which sensors are considered to be gaming grade sensors, and then if you're really wanting precision, infrared, they call it optical, but it's infrared, is going to be more precise usually than laser, unless it's a very good laser sensor that doesn't have any acceleration or any weirdness like that. So you can do a lot without a lot of money. That's why it's nice to be on the PC. The next thing that everyone in the comments always yells and screams about is, where's the OS? You didn't mention the OS. Well, let me tell you something. You guys can get Windows 8.1 serial numbers for like $13. They can be purchased on the internet. They are not stolen or fake. Kind of gray market, but we don't talk about that. Another thing is, Windows doesn't have to be your primary platform. In fact, I'm going to be encouraging a lot of people to try out Linux and to switch over. If you want like easy mode, try Linux Mint with Cinnamon. That looks a lot like Windows, functions a lot like Windows, and it's also Debian based, which is the same as Ubuntu, both Debian based. So you'll be able to use a lot of programs. Steam, it just natively installs. It's easy to do. You guys can also try Ubuntu. I just really recommend staying away from the Unity as your desktop. It's awful, and it's got a lot of spyware and crap built in, so be careful for that. Then if you can try Corora. There's a lot of people on the website to help, and OpenSUSE. Try that one as well. So that'd probably be the first choice, as a matter of fact, for a lot of people out there. But you're going to have to get your hands dirty with Linux, but it can be done, and then you'll have a PC that can play games, that you can use to make money, make music with it, write code with it, come up with different ideas. There's so many things you can do with it. So go ahead and get that started, and then do stuff with your life, man. All right, so that's pretty much the end of the video. Thanks very much for watching. If you have any questions, throw them on the forum. Thanks to all the TechSport members, and oh yeah, and don't forget we have our design of the month right now. There it is. These new American Apparel hoodies, by the way, are extremely comfortable. And yeah, there's the design of the month. So that'll only be available in February. So if you watch this out, and then February is over, you've missed it. I'm sorry. And that's it. Just right now. And the way it works is you buy them, and then twice a month. I think in the middle of the month, and then at the end of the month, we ship out all the orders. That way we don't print too many. But that's it. You just get 1 month. And yeah. So check that out. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Now what the fuck? You guys, this is cool, man. Yeah.